Before we begin, thank you very much to Jojira for joining the Patreon campaign. Thank you very much for the support. All of my appreciation. Thank you very much for doing it. Thank you very much for helping out and keeping the lights on, keeping the daily content coming. Everyone who pitches into Patreon, you are contributing to my ability to continue to do this for everybody. So thank you very much for making the channel possible. I deeply appreciate it. And Jojira, because you are at the top tier, you are owed a video request. So, please DM it to me on Patreon. That's the easiest way for me to keep it separate and know when it comes in. So, what are we doing today? So, today we are talking about Transformers Day 2024 and how everyone was like really excited for this because it's supposed to be to celebrate the first day that the original Transformers cartoon debuted on television, when Transformers began. I know you're gonna jump on me in the comment section about something. Give it a minute. Just wait. Trust me. Point being, we thought, oh, like it's Transformer Day. It's even like on a Transformer Tuesday thing. So like, this is going to be it, right? Like all the stuff they didn't show off at PulseCon, like Devastator, who like I think they're teasing now through other influencers. The name of the next line in Generations, like the reveal of like, oh, it's going to be the 13, and like all this. We thought they were holding off things at PulseCon because PulseCon was disappointing. You know, it was a lot of last wave stuff we've already seen, new was coming out. No real surprises, really. Just like, hey, here's this new thing. So we kind of thought they're waiting for Transformer Day because they've been hyping that up too. We should have already had the warning signs. Like, we already should have known the red flags were there when we noticed that this was being streamed on Walmart.com. I didn't even know Walmart.com did live streams. But apparently they did. Okay, so I tune in, and what do I actually see? I see two marketing people from Walmart who very clearly barely know what they're talking about. They've got a lot of 3-0 stuff, most of which I'm sure is not exclusive to them because I've seen it elsewhere. I watched them as they desperately tried to hype up toys that have been out for a month, as if they were brand new, and Walmart exclusive, even though I've seen them at Target. I saw them try to hype up walkie-talkies as if children who would actually be interested in walkie-talkies were going to watch a Walmart.com live stream. You know? And a Walmart.com live stream that, by the way, was happening, I believe, during school hours. If I remember the time, did it mark the time? Yeah, like this was during school. There weren't any kids around to watch your stupid walkie-talkie advert. And just weird and uncomfortable is the vibe I got off of this. They tried to demonstrate, like, they tried to show off like the light up Bumblebee toy that's out, and instead of just like pressing the button on the toy and showing it light up, they tried to show on the box where it lights up, which got super weird and awkward. They got the date of the movie wrong. They said that the movie was coming out Saturday the 20th. 20th is on Friday. Most movies tend to come out on Friday or Thursday, depending on depending on the movie. It's weird stuff like that, right? And then just very forced marketing efforts. Like the girl on this stream, I swear to God, she just kept saying she was shook over everything. Like, no, you are not shook. You're not even like stirred. You're not shook. Like, you're like, if this dialogue was being forced out of your mouth any harder, you'd be a ventriloquist puppet. So this made for like a really weird stream and like a really disappointing stream. It was very lame. It was very bad. I don't want them to ever do this again. This was just, there was nothing special about it. There was nothing new being revealed. It was literally just a commercial. So since I was going to talk about Transformer Day, and Transformer Day turned out to be a complete and total dud, let's actually talk my own Transformer Day. It's a day late because of my schedule, but I'm going to talk about my Transformer Day, what the franchise meant to me. I'm going to tell a lot of stories I've told in the past, but we're kind of conglomerating them together for newcomers as well as for People, just people don't want to like skim through all these other videos just to kind of see my my trip through this franchise. Now, like I said, Transformer Day is all about the first airing of More Than Meets the Eye Part 1. Episode 1 of the original Transformer cartoon debuted September 17th, 1984. Okay, that's all well and good. Okay, so that that's the whole purpose of the day. It's like supposedly the beginning of Transformers. Now, I'm too young to have actually seen that day. I'm too young to have actually watched it during its original airing. Usually when I saw Transformers on TV as a kid, it was during Generation 2. And yeah, like me, in my young youth, my foolish childhood, like looked at the CGI going in, they crammed into G1 and going, that looks super cool. Because of course it did. Any CGI back then looked cool. Like, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter how aged and dated it looks now. Back then, it looked awesome, But it still did feel weird and out of place to me. Like, I knew it wasn't supposed to be there because, if we're being truthful here, my first experience with Transformers in the animated form was not Generation 2, even though that was on TV when I was a kid. No. My original experience were these little silver labeled VHS tapes of Transformers in the original cartoon form. So when I was a little kid, my dad's friend owned like a private movie store, like an independent movie rental place. And he just one day just got rid of, sold off all of these VHSs of the original Transformer episodes to me, or to my dad. And my dad gave them to me for my birthday one year. And I watched these so often. I wore these tapes out. I think Divide and Conquer especially. I don't know why. I loved that episode as a kid. Because I thought and even looking back today, it's one of the better G1 episodes in my opinion. But that one in particular just got really warped. That and Roll For It. I think Roll For It was warped even worse. If you never watch the VHS, they have a shelf life. If you run through them too many times, the tape does tend to they start to get worn out. They start to even melt from the heat of being in the machine and run so many times. So the audio gets glitchy, the video gets staticky and really warpy and trippy. Hard to explain if you never saw it yourself. But point being, I burned these tapes up. The one I probably watched the most was Five Faces of Darkness, which in my brain was a sequel to the movie. Because that's kind of what it was patterned as, even though it was just a 5-parter kind of pieced together. But I thought it was the coolest thing at the time. I thought it was absolutely the coolest thing. And how could I not with this cover that is full of lies? Full of lies. We've got year 1 packaging art on the back. We've got Terracons and the Decepticon clones on the back. They don't appear in Five Faces of Darkness. Alpha Trion appears, but he's not holding a pagoda at the time. There is no Optimus Prime in Power Master form, or obviously there is no mainframe in the episodes. This was weird, but you know what? You were a kid. You didn't question the artwork they threw on the VHS just to sell it. It was just marketing, You didn't care. Kid didn't notice anything like that. But we know that we know that September 17th is a lie. We know that's not the debut date of the Transformers franchise. The real date is 6 months prior, when the first issue of the comic book series from Marvel came out. For number 1, in a 4-issue limited series that stretched on for 80 issues, and then I believe another 13 for Generation 1. Yeah, this is where Transformers began. This is the first fiction you could go to, which explains why some of the designs are a little bit interesting in issue 1, like Ironhide and Ratchet looking more like their toys because the animation models weren't known at the time. Fun stuff like that. But no, comic book wise, admittedly, I don't remember a whole lot because I didn't get my parents to buy me an issue every week. And just like G1 as a cartoon, I was too young to get in on like the earlier runs. So a lot of my books either came from like comic book shops later on, or they were late in the run. I remember like the one that stuck with me forever was this scene of Scorponok and Shockwave, both heavily damaged, duking it out, just in the middle of this water. And I don't know why, just for whatever reason, this visual just stuck with me. This is like watching Godzilla and King Kong in my child mind. This was absolutely epic, and I picked a book up here and there. Unfortunately, I can't even tell you what the books were. If I'm being honest here, like, I don't remember, like, specific issues that I read as a kid. Just little moments here and there. I remember seeing Optimus dying when he was in his Power Master form, so probably had that issue. After he defeated Unicron. I remember watching Circuit Breaker and her team, like, jumping out, like, falling out of the sky. So, I had that issue. And I remember having the G.I. Joe Transformer issue where Megatron got upgraded into his G2 body. Those are the memories I take away from the comic book. Admittedly, to this day, I haven't read through the entire run of Marvel. Still need to if I can ever find the time to do it, though. Now, when it comes to the toys, the stuff I had rarely came from an actual toy store. A lot of it was rummage sale finds, garage sales, whatever they are called in your vicinity of the US, or anywhere else in the world for that matter. Point being, a lot of it was secondhand, so it was just random stuff. I do remember having a Soundwave, but I don't remember having a Laserbeak. No, I had Squawk Talk. That was my Laserbeak. And in my brain, in my very young brain, blaming a lot of things on my young brain in this video, by the way, that was Laserbeak to me. Didn't matter if it was blue, it was Laserbeak. I want to say I had Beast Box as well, and like my brain wanted it to be Rumble, but really knew it wasn't. I don't even think as a kid I knew they combined. I just thought they were just like any of the other cassette bots that I saw in the cartoon, and they just like went from cassette to animal. So didn't know until later in life they were a combining duo. Some of the other favorites early on, Technobots. I had 3 Technobots as a kid, and they survived my childhood. Well, no, two. I had Afterburner, and I had Scattershot, who are currently both part of my complete Computron. Lightspeed was my favorite as a kid, and Lightspeed got lost in one of the moves. Because my family moved around a lot locally before we finally settled on moving down to Florida, and even then took one more move. So we bounced around, and every time you bounce around, move homes, you're almost certainly going to lose something, especially out of a kid's toy collection. So yeah, I have no idea whatever happened to that Lightspeed. All I know is, like, I loved the look of it as a kid in both modes. I just thought it was like this really neat, like, classic looking Transformer. Really liked the futuristic car. Like, I just really, really like this. So I don't even know why I attached to it so much. I just did. Other ones I attached to is, I can remember, like, some of my family members had, like, toy boxes that they would have just for, like, when, like, the kids and the cousins all visited. And some of them had different things, like great-grandmother had Mysterions, which gave me a lot of nostalgia for those. Talked about that in a previous video too. But I can remember Rodimus Prime and a few others just being part of a set of toys at my aunt's house. And I think one day I just kind of claimed them. And everyone knew I was stealing them out of her house, but like I think at that point, the family at large just kind of agreed, like, he's the only one playing with them now anymore. Just let him have them. Just let him have his fun. And that little blue suitcase that I kept these in went everywhere with me. It wasn't a suitcase. It's like this like travel box thing. It just latched like a suitcase, and I can remember looking at that and going, and like I took that everywhere I could get away with. Like we went on a camping trip. I got dragged along for a camping trip, which is where I learned I don't like the outdoors. But as part of the camping trip, I got to go, like, I basically just stayed in the trailer at the campsite the whole time. Just going like, look, I don't care if you're making s'mores. I don't like being by a giant fire. I don't like being around the woods where all the bugs are. I'm going to sit in here and play with Hot Rod. That's what I'm going to do for this entire trip. And that's what I did. Still don't like camping. I've only done it like twice since then. Still don't like it. Neither attempt went well. There's the other story from my childhood that I tell before. I'll tell it again. So I had a babysitter that I got left with a lot because both of my parents worked when I was a kid. And I would always take Transformers to her house. And one of the ones I ended up taking a lot was Skull Cruncher, because like that was the one headmaster I got to have as a kid. Still had the head and everything. It was complete, you know. I was too young during G1's initial run, but keep in mind those toys lasted on the toy shelf a long time back then. Like literally years after they were out of production, you could probably still find them here and there. So I think mine might have been new. I genuinely don't remember. Like I was just way too young at the time. What I remember is that I would take it to this babysitter's house, and I accidentally lost the head. I lost the head off my Skull Cruncher somewhere in the backyard. Somehow, some way, babysitter found it. After like I don't know how long, but it felt like a long time as a kid to have a headless Transformer. Thrilled to have it back. Immediately did it again. Immediately lost it again. In the same backyard, by the way, and that time it didn't come back. Somewhere in my storage bins, there is a headless Skull Cruncher to this day. It's in ratty condition, though. Like, I feel like at some point I want to go back and get a G1 Skull Cruncher, just so I can have it complete. Like, Headmasters are expensive, so I've not really wanted to take that plunge, but someday, maybe. Growing up, I fell off from Transformers when I discovered Power Rangers, because that's when, Transformers was on the downside, doing a lot of reissue G1 stuff, wasn't really into it. Outside of like a few things here or there. Finally got a Grimlock. It's blue, but I finally got a Grimlock. And then Power Rangers happened. And like Power Rangers filled that niche of like, I need giant transforming robot toys in my life. At a time when Transformers was kind of dull to me. And then Beast Wars happened. And now, in contrast to today, where I think outside of G1, Beast Wars is the part of the franchise I talk about the most on this channel, I just wasn't into it. It just wasn't my thing. I wasn't going to give it a try. I wanted cars and jets. Like when Beast Machines ended and they went to RID, I was absolutely one of the ones they were marketing to, that wanted Autobots and Decepticons again. That said, every now and then I would pick something up. Like, I got a Bantor as a kid, and I liked it a lot. I got Magnaboss as a kid, because, like, Combiner, right? I got Magnaboss and Tripredacus. And those were fun, because Combiner, it was the Transmetals that got me back, because at least in my brain I was thinking, like, oh, they're like the old Predacons. They're mechanical beasts. Like, now it was okay again. Now they look fully robotic. Now it was okay for me to like Beast Wars. Started watching the cartoon, watch it here and there. Loved the cartoon. Absolutely loved it as a kid. And then, of course, I recognized the Scott McNeil voice, which is probably no wonder why Rat Trap ended up being one of the first ones I bought. I can't remember what the other earliest Beast Wars pickup were. I had Ramulus, I had Depth Charge and Rampage, I had Optimal eventually. I can't remember every one of them. I can't remember, like, a little sparing details here and there, like which ones I had. Even that's a little too far back at this point. I can distinctly remember having Rat Trap, though. I really want to say that was the first one I picked up. Him and Terrorsaur. I think those are the first two I picked up, and after that is when I consider myself, like, an actual, like, Transformer guy again. And, well, I was very sparing, didn't really buy anything in Beast Machines, outside of, like, maybe, I think, a couple of Viacons. It was like when RID came back around, like, okay, now I want everything. Now I feel like I'm a collector, because now I want everything they do. And that's the first line I was kind of completist about. And it's just been kind of that ever since. I'm not completist anymore because you'd go bankrupt trying to do it now. But the point is, that's when I really kind of like fell back into the franchise, and I never left. Because I was always one of those that never really cared about how popular I was. I didn't follow fashion trends. I didn't hang out with the cool kids. I did my own thing because being me was more important to me than being popular. And the people who liked me for me were the ones who were my friends the entire time I was through school and even beyond that. That's the important stuff. Like, that's the stuff that was always most important to me. And it meant I never really gave up the stuff that I loved. You know, I still had, like, I would still, you know, even through high school, I would still rather watch cartoons in the morning than news, Sports Center, whatever else junk was on TV before I left for school. And I really not looked back. Like, I still have this deep love for the franchise. Obviously, I do. We've been going on this channel 3 years daily as a result. And I look back at everything that this franchise has allowed me to do, and I just think to myself, I've gotten to do so many things because I sunk myself into this channel. You know, the people I've gotten to meet, you know, not just Scott McNeil, my favorite voice actor, you know, I get to call him a friend because of what I do here on YouTube. But also, like I've talked to Troy Baker and Nolan North. You know, I've talked to Phil Lamar and like Crispin Freeman, like voice actors I really like and respect. Steve Bloom. I have talked to Steve Bloom because of this channel. Kevin Conroy. I've gotten to talk to the Batman because of this channel. You know, because of this channel, I had the expertise to land this job that is currently surrounding me. Because of because of what I do on YouTube, I've gotten to meet friends that have lasted well over a decade, and I will probably have for the rest of my life. It is because of the channel, I'm able to get on an airplane as of this recording tomorrow morning to fly all the way out to California to see friends from all over the internet, that I've known only online, and I get to see them and meet them in person for the first time because of this channel. There's so many things this channel made possible. My girlfriend of 5 years, I would not have met if it wasn't for what this channel has given me. It's been an amazing ride, and I take none of it for granted. Like, this is why I work as hard as I do, trying to get daily stuff out for everybody, because this means the world to me that I'm able to do this. Thanks to you guys, thanks to this channel, actually finding a voice and finding people to watch. I've never had to work Walmart or McDonald's, and I thank each and every one of you for that. Yeah, it's been incredible. Like, I know I have my grievances with the franchise sometimes. I am not afraid of criticizing the thing I love because I know it can be better and I want it to be better. But I can't thank the franchise enough for the opportunities it's allowed me. And it amazes me that just loving a toy line has been able to grant my life so many things. And we're only going farther from here. You have no idea what I have planned and what I've been working on. I'm really excited for what we're going to be doing. So that's Transformer Day to me. Not this like soulless Walmart.com commercial for a bunch of toys collectors, already know about. No. It's about the legacy it's left, the stories it's told, and the people it's inspired, me included. It's about my personal journey in life that this franchise has somehow enriched and made possible, which is a lot for it's a lot for a franchise that's just about selling kids toys. But sometimes that's how life works. You just can't predict it. So that's a Transformer Day for me. So I don't know what you want to leave in the comments as a response to this. You can share your own memories or, what the day meant for you, because frankly, should have been a little bit more special than what Walmart.com made of it. But that's going to be it for me today. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next time.